Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Get Stolked podcast. Today is going to be a kind of special episode where I actually tell a little bit of my story. I haven't really done that before, but I figured there's no better way to really connect to an audience than actually kind of be truthful about me. And I really do think that this might actually be the first episode of the podcast which I'm going to upload to YouTube. Basically, my story is I'm just a 22-year-old guy out of Toronto, Canada, who's just trying to make it as a professional poker player. Currently, I have a full-time job selling cell phones. I'm in a very healthy relationship with a woman who has done nothing but support me. I have friends who support me, chase this dream of mine, and my mom even kind of, helps me through all of this. It's pretty fantastic that I'm in the scenario that I'm in. I am medically diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety. I take medications for both those things every single day. And I also take sleeping medications because I can't sleep at night with those two diagnoses. Kind of think of it like, let's say you're upset that you left the microwave on, and in about 2 minutes, you're having an existential crisis because you don't think you're worth living. That's basically what my life used to be for a very long time. And I feel like it's important to talk about mental health because the landscape of mental health is changing, but there's still a long way to go. And I guess that's all I really want to talk about that. I've always wanted to be a professional poker player. I remember back in the day watching TV with Chris Ferguson with his cowboy hat on and his long hair and going, that guy is fucking awesome. And that's the guy who I actually kind of emulated over. So I would play poker by myself on my bed and I would flip up all 6 hands and cheat so I would win. But I just did this for hours every single day where I would just play cards with myself. And what it actually taught me was that having self-control while you're playing is the best course of action. Because imagine quite literally playing thousands of hands by yourself, seeing runouts on thousands of hands and seeing hand distribution all before you were probably 7 years old. I was a fucking nerd. Like, I would literally just sit there, sometimes 6, sometimes 10-handed, and just go at it. It's fucking weird, right? The first hand of poker I remember playing in an organized game was on this old website called Poker Room. And my mom and dad both had their own accounts, and I was homesick from school, and I was sitting on the carpet. I was probably 8 or 9, and my mom is like, wash the table for me, fold, need to go to the bathroom. So I was like, cool. Walk up to the computer, because we only had one. This was probably 2004, and I was like, shit, I have ace king. I know this is a good hand, because I watch it on TV. So I decide to bet. And this dude calls me, and I'll never forget the flop. It was ace 3 7. So I was like, I've got a pair of aces. So because the guy didn't bet, I knew he wasn't strong. So I was like, uh-oh, he might have an okay hand. So he might have 3-7, he might have 7-6, but I've got an ace, so I'm good. But I checked after he checked. I don't remember the turn. It was check, and I don't remember the river. I made a little bet. He called. He showed a 7, and I won. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, I won you $200 because I thought it was real money, right? And Mom's like, I told you to fold. And I was like, I can't. I have ace king. I couldn't fold. And she's like, okay, well, thank you. And I was hooked ever since. I played by myself even more. My mom and dad would wake up at about 7:30 every morning, so I would wake up at 6 o'clock. I made my own Poker Room account, and I would reload for $1,000 play money dollars, and I would just try to grind. I'm not going to tell some fake success story where I made like 1 million play chips or anything like that, but I did get myself up to 10,000, and I was really, really excited about that. When I was about 9 or 10, a World Series of Poker game came out for the PlayStation 2, and I was absolutely addicted with it. Like, some kids have NHL, some kids have Call of Duty. I had World Series of Poker, and I'm pretty sure it was 2. But in the main event, it was a multi-day thing. It was a $10,000 tournament. This was in the height of the poker boom. I made it to the final table on this World Series of Poker 2 game. It took hours, and I got 3rd place. And at that table, I shit you not, Chris Ferguson was at that table. A computer Chris Ferguson, not the real Chris Ferguson. And he knocked me out. It was like, are you fucking kidding me? I got 3rd place. I got eliminated by my favorite poker player. Fuck that guy. It was so fucking surreal. But my poker balance went from like $10,000 to like $900,000 because I got 3rd place in the World Series of Poker main event on easy mode. I know. But I was like 10 or 11. It blew my mind. So ever since, I've been hooked. I played a lot online, just kind of play money. I figured out you could buy prepaid MasterCards, so I gave one of those a shot every now and then with some allowance that I made and everything like that. And I didn't win, but it was fun. I was learning. I was super tight. I'd only play aces, maybe kings. I'd tell my mom, yeah, I got this money in a free roll. It was fucking awesome. Around 2012, my last year of high school, I actually decided, hey, I want to take a real shot. So I put $100 in, and it lasted me a few months, and then I ran out of money and I stopped playing. Then I started playing the live local scene where I was way too tight for my own good. Some dude named Juice kind of took me under his wing, and he told me, you're too tight, and you never continuation bet. You gotta do it. You have to. And this is a player who I actually really, really looked up to. We would talk about hands in between smokes, in between drinks. He was a semi-professional player back in the day, and he was somebody who I just really looked up to. So I took a lot of his advice. I played the local scene for about a year and a half. I got into a relationship, which was fun at first, but then by the end kind of fell off the rails, and I just stopped focusing on poker. And then 7 months ago, I actually got back into it. And I was like, I'm going to take my real shot. Now or never. I have a full-time job. I have benefits. I had recently just seeked out help for my anxiety. I'm a social work dropout who just happens to be good at math. And I went, fine, fuck it. And I started this podcast, which I gave up on and recently started again. And so far, I've turned $100 into $200. Really, really grinding it out. And I'm looking forward to really just giving it more of a shot. I'm looking forward to uploading more to this podcast. I've got hopes and dreams that go well beyond poker. One day I want to be a sports anchor, or maybe a broadcaster, or a poker podcaster, or broadcaster, or anchor, whatever it is. It's just something that I want to pursue. And this YouTube channel, which I'm going to upload to probably for the first time with the podcast, I'm going to continue making the podcast, but most importantly, I'm actually going to continue playing poker. It's going to be fun. I've got a girlfriend who supports it. I have friends who support it. I've got a lot of people in my corner. I used to think that I was fighting against the odds to try to become this professional poker player, and to an extent it's true. However, it's not like I have to fight any, outward adversity. The adversity is going against my nature and trying to take the easy way at it. That is my adversity, and that's all the adversity I have. I'm not going to be publicly ostracized. I'm not going to lose my relationship over it. I'm not going to disassociate with my family over it. My adversity is I will only go as far as I want to go. And it's a scary thought as somebody with anxiety and ADHD sitting there playing 4 tables at once. Definitely isn't the easiest task, but I'm still learning. I've got the tools I feel like to succeed. I've got the desire. I am pretty good at math. And I am pretty good at kind of putting two and two together at the poker table and really figuring out what's going on. But if you join me on this journey, it's going to be a fun one. And I hope that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. You really get behind me during this $100 to $10,000 channel. I'm going to be uploading more. I'm going to be giving updates. I already have a TikTok account called the Get Stolked Podcast. I do poker videos. I do this game called One Punch Man. My really kind of, my escape from studying and everything like that. That's my time waster right now. I plan on branching out into sports if I can. I'm really going to make a playbook. I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to evaluate everything in my life. And I'm just going to put everything I can into everything and just live the best life possible. Because I feel like that is the first step to becoming a professional poker player. And if you're interested in following me in this journey, I've got a Spotify account now. I've got a YouTube channel. I've got an Instagram. I've got a TikTok. They're all the Get Stolked podcast, and they're all going to be interconnected. And I really look forward to it. Leave a comment wherever you find this, because it would make my life a lot easier. Not easier, just it'd be nice to know someone's listening. And I know if I just keep grinding, kind of like Nathan Williams told me, I'm going to get the following. And I think I've ranted enough just about my personal story. I look forward to making more episodes of this podcast, maybe putting together some sort of visual art for the podcast, and just going from there. So, thank you very much for listening, and as always, good luck at the poker tables.